All right, today we're starting the next theme in our 21 Days of Prayer. We've been dealing with hope and talking about hope and praying through hope. And now it transitions to peace. And what a glorious time this is to allow the peace of the Lord to reign upon us. But this peace doesn't come freely. It is very, very costly. Peace comes from the death of our Savior. That's why He came. That's why we celebrate Christmas the way we do. And we are acknowledging His presence, His coming, but He came for a reason. He came to seek and to save. And the story around the birth is not appropriate to talk about it without talking about His purpose. Even the angels said, He will save the world. He will be the Savior of the world, and everyone will be blessed because of it. But that blessing came at a great cost. I want to look at just a couple of passages to prepare our hearts for prayer. And in Zechariah chapter 12, we see this prophecy of the mourning of the pierced one, the weeping of the one who will be pierced. Now, this was written, 1,000 years before Christ or 700 years before Christ. And verse 10 of chapter 12 of Zechariah says this, "Then I will pour out a spirit of grace and prayer on the house of David and the residents of Jerusalem, and they will look at me whom they pierce. They will mourn for him as one who mourns for an only child and weeps bitterly for him as one weeps for a firstborn." Now, Jesus was the only child, right, of God the Father. And many people around the cross wept, and He was pierced. And that's what this passage says. I'm going to look at another passage. This is Isaiah 53, and describing where peace really comes from. In Isaiah 53, starting in verse 4, it says, "Yet He Himself bore our sickness, and He carried our pains. But we in turn regarded Him stricken, struck down by God, and afflicted. But He was pierced because of our transgressions. He was crushed because of our iniquities. Punishment for our peace," is what it says, "because of our transgressions." So His punishment and His stripes and His willingness to go to the cross was so that we could have, first of all, peace with God. It was our transgressions that made us enemies of God. It is the death of Jesus and His resurrection that gives us peace with God. So in this season, when we talk about Jesus Christ bringing peace, it came costly. The Old Testament refers to two ideas of the Messiah. The first would be like the son of Joseph. The son of Joseph was one who bore iniquities, who was pierced, who went through hard times just like Joseph. And the next one we will consider tomorrow. And so join me again. Pray through this passage in the book of Isaiah, chapter 53, starting in verse 4 and going to 5. Pray about that. Pray about your peace with God, thanking the Lord for dying for us on the cross so that we might have peace. And that your greatest concern is peace with God. Because once you have peace with God, you have peace with everyone else. Well, God bless you, and have a good time in prayer.